What's up, you beautiful bastards? Today we're going to talk about a movie that I recently watched a few days ago on Netflix. It's called 1922. That's what we're talking about today on my vlog reviews. So what's this movie all about? I'm going to read you the brief synopsis. It's the Wikipedia one's very long-winded. I'm just going to read the one sentence it has here. A rancher conspires to murder his wife for financial gain and convinces his teenage son to participate. I'm going to read a different one because that one's terrible. That's wrong. In 1922, Wilford Wilf, played by Thomas Jane, is a farmer living in Nebraska with his wife, Annette, played by Molly Parker, and their 14-year-old son. Wilf is strongly opposed to his wife's plans to sell the farm and move to Omaha to open a dress shop. He decides to convince Henry to help murder Arnett, his wife. That's basically the movie. Obviously spoils if you haven't seen it. They do murder his wife in like the first 20 minutes. And going into this film, I kind of feel I was bait and switched. I didn't read the synopsis beforehand. I watched the Netflix trailer that it showed. And to me, I thought it was a supernatural film. Obviously, I would think that because it's based on a Stephen King novel. So I was like, okay, cool. It's about a story about a man who kills his wife, he buries his wife on the property, and then weird things start happening, and there's some kind of curse in the land, and no, none of that happens. It was a little bit of a bait and switch for me. I thought it was supernatural at its core. It's not. It's psychological. It's a psychological thriller, I guess you'd call it. It didn't really do much for me personally. So anyway, let's talk a little about the acting. So Thomas Jane is very good in this film. His acting is he's very committed, to say the least. Like he does the sling blade, like Midwestern, why do want them French fried potatoes?
French fried potatoes?
Yep, French fries.
Like he does that very well, extremely well. So well that I had to turn on subtitles because he was so rural. And like to do that accent that thick, and have it sound legit is actually kind of hard. So I really did enjoy his performance. Everyone else's performance was okay. Molly Parker's in the movie for such a short amount of time, but you know, she's decent in it. I have nothing else negative to say about any other person's performance in the film. Before I go on and rip the story apart, which I'm going to do, I want to talk about some of the positives for the film. The cinematography was excellent. There's a lot of really unique shots, and for a film that's as plain as taking place at a farm, it had some really cool wide shots, really cleverly designed shots when they go into town. Obviously, it is a period piece. So it's shot very well. It's shot very cleverly. I think a lot of the angles and lenses on it make it look really unique and give it a lot of character. And that says a lot about the color grading as well in the film. It's not normally that I notice color in a film so much. I mean, an extreme example would be like The Ring or The Matrix. Like whenever they're in The Matrix, like there's a light green hue on everything. A green tint. And that's really where the positives stop. The whole film kind of falls apart because of one major thing, and that's it. The film beats over the head with you the theme and the lesson of, hey, murder's wrong. And you're kind of like, well, duh. He murders his wife, and then of course, everything snowballs, right? Like he loses his son, he loses his farm, he loses his sanity, and it's just his journey on the way to being insane isn't really believable to me, because he was already to want to murder your wife over land to give to your son is kind of already you're crazy. So it's not like he was a stable person and you saw him slowly slip into madness. He was always weird, and they tried to make him even weirder, and it just didn't work. There is no payoff, really. His whole life falls apart after he murders his wife, things that cascade and one into another because of either the guilt or the karma or whatever. It's just not, and it's not that it's in poor taste, it's just the subliminal message of murder's wrong, don't kill people is so obvious that I didn't think we needed a hour and 20-minute long film portraying that. And by the way, the film runtime is 101 minutes, and I felt I was watching it forever. The pacing's just terrible. I can't really recommend 1922. Thomas Jane does a really good accent, and he's really committed to the role. There's beautiful cinematography. The colorization is very beautiful in the film and very unique and stands out in its way. From a colorist standpoint, the story is lame. It's not supernatural. It's a psychological thriller There's nothing supernatural about it. It's a little bait and switchy in the trailer, making you think it's supernatural. The payoff sucks, and the overall message of murder is bad is just dumb. Like, obviously, like, I would, if this were a kid's film, which it's clearly not, it's not a kid's film, I would understand you trying to explain to kids, hey, hurting someone else for your personal gain or because they disagree with you is a bad message. But this is clearly a film for adults. And the messaging behind it is like blatantly obvious that murder is bad and you shouldn't do it. And like, we really didn't need a movie portraying a guy killing his wife and then going crazy over the guilt of it and having his life fall apart from it, because that's something that you would expect to happen anyway. Yeah, I can't recommend this. Like I said, it's a little bait and switchy. It's not very scary either. From a thriller perspective, because you know what's going on about halfway through the film. You catch on rather quickly. And yeah, it's hard for me to recommend this. I do like how Netflix tries different things. Not everything's going to be a swing and a home run. I feel like I wasted an hour and 21 minutes of my life watching it. But again, you know, swing and a miss. Happens. That's the great thing about Netflix. They try different things. Not everything's going to be great. And it was available to watch for me at home on my streaming service, which is always a plus. Didn't have to go anywhere. Anyway, so that's just about out. Yep. Bye-bye.
I kinda want something other to eat.